It is Monday, April 15th, and the Splash Zone is back in your life for tomorrow's play-in games between the Lakers and the Pelicans and between the Warriors and the Kings. I am Matt Modi, and I have 4 NBA player props for you guys to lock in, plus an Underdog fantasy parlay as well. But before we can get into those picks, I want to do a quick recap of how the NBA regular season went for me, which was amazing. It was an absolutely incredible regular season that we had. I ended the year just under 110 units of profit on the season. And that's not including any parlays. That's every single main play I took straight up, just singles, no parlays. 110 units of profit, just below 20% ROI, with a pretty good win record as well, considering a lot of these plays are plus money bangers. Just an amazing regular season that we had. Let's hope we can keep up the run in the playoffs. If you're new to my channel, I would recommend subscribing because we've been so hot. And last year, the playoffs is when I really started to do well with my NBA player props and dive into my NBA player prop betting strategy. So I'm hoping that this year's playoffs is good as well. And then for this specific video, like the video, comment, all that stuff does help me out a ton. But that's enough of that. You're only as good as your most recent bangers. So let's hope we can have another good day today, or I guess for tomorrow's games. Good day in today's video for tomorrow's games. Let's hope we can splash around and get a little wet. The first play that we're locking in, and I'm just going to go game by game. So the first 3 are all going to be in the Lakers versus Pelicans game. First up, I'm taking LeBron James. You might have heard of him, over 8.5 assists, minus 125 odds at FanDuel. Now, I worry that this play, I admit, might be a little bit too square for my taste because these two teams just played on Sunday and LeBron had 17 assists. And yeah, that was a lot of assists. And now these two teams play once again. So the money's going to be coming in on LeBron assists. But I just think it's such a good matchup that even though it is a little bit square, I do think that he can go over the 8.5 number that we're taking him at. And minus 125 odds is pretty good. Not only did he have 17 assists in the game on Sunday, the more important number is he had 24 potential assists, right? If he had gone like 17 assists on 18 potentials, that assist ratio would have been crazy. And that's not something that you can count on game over game. But the 24 potential assists, that is something that you can count on, maybe not to that extent, but a high potential assist number is something that is more replicatable game over game. And LeBron's passing has taken a pretty big jump recently. Now 17 assists, yeah, that's a lot. But if you look at his last 10 games, he's averaging 15.5 potential assists per game. So even with that potential assist number, that's pretty good for us only needing to get to 9 assists. And he's had at least 11 potential assists in every single game in his last 10, except for one. That one game he missed 11 potential assists was a weird game where he only had 5 assists on 6 potentials, but he also scored 40 points in that game. So it makes sense why his passing was a little bit down. If you take that one game out, he's averaging over 16 he's averaging 16.2 potential assists per game in his last 10 games. And he's cashed this over in the last 2 games against the Pelicans, and these teams have played 4 times this year. In the 2 games that he did not cash it, he had exactly 8 assists, so 1 hook away from cashing it. And in those games, he had 11 and 15 potential assists. The 11 number isn't great. The 15 very much is. And the 2 most recent games are the 2 games that he did cash against the Pelicans as well. With last game on Sunday, as I mentioned, he had 17 assists on 24 potential. And then the game before that, in February, LeBron also cashed this over. He had 14 assists on 19 potential assists. Those last 2 games against the Pelicans combined, he's had 44 combined potential assists, which is a crazy number. But it actually does make sense when you drill into the matchups. The Pelicans, according to Courtside Pal, allow the 3rd most assists per game to LeBron's playmaking style, which makes sense why he gets so much assists against them. So I love riding with LeBron's assists once again, even though he did just crush the number last time. That's our first play. Next up, same game, I'm taking Zion Williamson over 23.5 points, plus 106 odds at Bet Rivers. I absolutely love this play. I think this is a perfect play to fade recent results. The same game these two teams played on Sunday, Zion only had 12 points. It was a weird game. The Pelicans just got annihilated from the jump. That game just wasn't close basically from the first quarter on. But just because that happened last game, that doesn't scare me off at all. If anything, it actually kind of makes me like his over even more in this game tonight as a fade of recent results. Taking out last game, the prior 2 games that Zion had played against the Lakers, he scored 26 and he scored 30 points. And I just think that this line is a little bit too much of an overreaction, A, to the game that we talked about last game, which was rough, and to Brandon Ingram being back. Prior to that game on Sunday, Zion had gone over 23.5 points in 7 of his last 9 games. And in one of the games he missed, He didn't even play 30 minutes because that game ended up being a blowout. I don't expect this game to be a blowout. It's a play-in. I think it should be close. And I know that those last nine sample size games that I gave you, Brandon Ingram was out of the lineup. This is still his second game back. It's not like he's going to eat that much into Zion's usage. And even if it is a normal usage that these two players had when both were healthy, look at Zion's recent sample size of games that he played specifically with Brandon Ingram. Again, taking out this most recent game on Sunday. Zion had gone over 23.5 points in 5 of his last 6 games, specifically that he played with Brandon Ingram. In the 2 games that Zion cashed his over, in which he scored 26 and 30 points, Ingram played both of those games. So I just think that this number has dropped too far for Zion, and I think it's a really, really good price we're getting on him to go over over 23.5 points. That's our second play. Third up, our last pick, specifically in this game, I am going to have a play in the Warriors-Kings, and I'm going to have my underdog entry as well. I'm taking Austin Reeves, 3+ made 3-pointers, plus 170 odds at FanDuel, and I'm putting a half unit on this bad boy. Now, this is another situation where it might be a little bit square because of how good Austin Reeves has been, and I do admit that I don't normally love having 3 plays in the same exact game, because if it doesn't go the way you expect, losing 3 plays in one game hurts. But individually, if you're just looking at this play for Austin Reeves, it's such a good one. And this has been a theme all year for the Pelicans, but their style of defense is they will leave shooters wide open. And I mean wide open as defined by NBA.com. If you look at the entire season, the Pelicans allow the highest frequency of 3-point shots be considered wide open. If you look at the last 10 games, it's the exact same thing. The highest frequency of 3-pointers considered wide open by NBA.com's standards. It's just a style of defense, literally, that they choose to do. Like, they will trust their length on defense to disrupt the shot, even if it's wide open enough. You get a hand up from a tall, lanky guy like Herb Jones or Brandon Ingram. It's going to affect it more than a normal player. And that they also, part of their strategy is they leave the right shooters open. So they won't leave the best shooters on the team open. They're going to say, Austin Reeves, you're not D'Angelo Russell. You're not where we need to put our focal point. We're going to leave you wide open. Now, they did win 49 games, so part of that strategy did lead to a lot of wins, but it also leaves situations where they leave guys like Austin Reeves. They just leave them wide open, right? Austin Reeves, he's made 3 or more 3-pointers in 4 of his last 5 games against the Pelicans. That includes 3 of 4 this year specifically, and that includes the 2 most recent games that these two teams have played against each other, where Austin Reeves went 3 of 4 in one of the games he went over. I admit that type of hit rate is a little bit concerning, but considering all the attempts are wide open, it does make a little bit more sense. And in last Sunday's game, Austin Reeves went 3 of 7 from deep. That's a little more reasonable. That's not a situation where I want to fade recent results, because I think they're going to play the same style of defense because they've done it all year. The matchup is so good, and Austin Reeves has been hot from deep, so I'm riding the wave on him to make 3 3-pointers in this one. That is our third play. And now, as for the underdog entry, all I'm doing is combining the 3 plays that I have to confirm the 3-leg parlay. It's what I posted on the screen here, a screenshot of my slip. I put a quarter unit on it, so whatever a quarter unit is for you, for me that's $25. I put LeBron 9+ assists, so not quite the 8.5 number that we're taking for our main play, but if he hits exactly 9, then we'll just get this play refunded, no harm, no foul. Zion over 23.5 points, and Austin Reeves 2+ made 3-pointers. So I'm getting a little bit of a better price on the Austin Reeves 3-pointers, whereas if he makes exactly 2, we lose our mainline play, but at least we would push this. This is offered basically $25 to win $150. It's basically the equivalent of plus 500 odds at sportsbooks. But if you were to lock in the same game parlay on FanDuel, they nerf the odds to make it plus 188. So there is legitimate value to placing this on Underdog. I would not place it on a regular sportsbook because they nuke the odds for same game parlays so much. Underdog's not doing that, which is why I think it's worth a play. If you don't use Underdog, I would appreciate it if you do sign up using my promo code link, as I just partnered with them. I'm partnering with them because I do think you can make money off their platform, which is why I'm putting this entry out here. So again, use the link in the description video. I also put it up on the screen here as well. That's everything for Lakers Pelicans. Now we have Warriors versus Kings. As of right now, I just have one play in this game. I'm taking De'Aaron Fox over 27.5 points, minus 111 odds at FanDuel. So I probably will try and find an entry for this game as well. I just need to look into 2 more plays that I like. For right now, I love this De'Aaron Fox angle, this De'Aaron Fox play. Normally, these are narratives that I don't try to buy into because I think it can lead to a lot of bad bets. But De'Aaron Fox legitimately kills the Warriors, right? He's gone over this number in all 3 games against the Warriors this year. In those 3 games, he scored 39, 29, and 29 points. Again, like this player kills this team type of narrative are generally ones that I avoid. But if they have distinct matchup advantages, then I do think that there is something to that. And even in the playoff series that these two teams played last year, if you look at the 7-game sample size of Fox, it doesn't look great. You have to keep in mind that he broke his finger in, like, I think halfway through the series. He had 2 blow-up games prior to breaking his finger, so his whole series stats don't look good. But because of that broken finger, it does make it look a little bit worse than it was. And I think that this is a really good matchup for De'Aaron Fox. The Warriors do a good job limiting some types of shots. Like, they do a really good job protecting the rim. They only give up the second fewest shots specifically at the rim, but they'll funnel shots into the paint, not quite into the restricted area. So if you look at that very specific spot on the court, again, in the paint, but not the restricted area, the Warriors are allowing the second most field goal attempts in that area of the court. And that's where Fox does a lot of damage on the Kings. He leads the Kings in attempts in that area of the court. So Sabonis shoots at the restricted area. Fox shoots a little bit farther away, still in the paint, but not in the restricted area. And that's where Fox dominated the Warriors in all three of the games that these two teams played this year. Another area of the court in which Fox dominated against the Warriors, which lines up with the Warriors defense, is above the break 3-pointers. In the 3 games against the Warriors this year, Fox attempted about 8 above the break 3-pointers against them, which is a lot. The Warriors, they're not like the Bulls or the Jazz in terms of worst 3-point defenses in the NBA, but they, over the last 10 games, they still allow the 9th most above the break 3-point attempts in the NBA. So it's somewhat an area of weakness, bottom third. And it's an area in which Fox had a lot of success against in all 3 regular season games. I don't think that the Warriors are going to dramatically change up their style of defense. So I expect Fox to continue to be able to have success against them. And that's all we got. 4 bets, 1 underdog entry for you guys to lock in, and make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And if you liked these plays, I do have a Dub Club where I send out all my plays early. Every play that I give out on YouTube and Twitter for free, you get on Dub Club for $5 a month. I have it as a way for, again, people to get plays early. They don't want to rely on watching the videos or checking YouTube. All my plays get texted to you directly to your phone, text, email, Telegram, however you want it. Or if you'd rather just wait, watch the videos, get them for free. Totally fine with me. I just like to have the option. And that's all we got. So I appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.